Alright, so this is my new to me 1965 Mustang Convertible, and for some reason on this car it did not have a fan shroud installed. It does have aftermarket air, and it had a four-blade fan that was really close to the radiator and had no fan shroud. So I bought the heavy duty cooling 3.5-inch shroud from NPD, and I'm attempting to install it. I was able to get the old fan off without having to drop the radiator, which was nice. But the issue that I'm having is that the fan shroud is banging into my aftermarket air conditioning compressor here. So I was able to get the kind of shove the shroud in there. So it looks like I'm going to have to Dremel the shroud, which I really don't want to do. I don't want to sort of ruin the appearance, but it seems like that's my only choice in dealing with this, because I don't think I can move the compressor back. So let me show you the parts. So there's the old four-bladed fan that was installed in the car, and there's the spacer, which was a 2 7/8 spacer, which put it right up next to the radiator. This fan was like really close, probably too close, way too close to the radiator. I guess somebody figured that would cool it better with the aftermarket air conditioner. So I bought the a 2.5-inch Scott Drake spacer from NPD, and just in case that doesn't work, I also bought a 1-inch in order to get the new fan that I got, which is a 6-bladed fan that is steel 6-bladed fan, so 17-inch. So anyway, I think I'm going to have to break out the Dremel. Okay, so I successfully took a Dremel and cut out this, it's about a 1-inch piece from the shroud here, and I'm hoping that's going to be enough so that the compressor can clear it okay. One thing I did is I stuck a piece of cardboard over the radiator just so I don't bend any fins or slice my fingers. So anyway, now I'll see if I can get this in there and get it to install it properly. One thing I did notice though is that the holes on the shroud are offset. So on one side the holes are lower than the other, and then I looked on my radiator, and on my radiator the hoses are they're all lined up. You can't see it here, but they're the same on both sides. So I'm hoping I can just reverse the direction of the fan shroud mounts that I bought, and that will handle that offset in the holes in the shroud, because my radiator does not have offset holes. I wasn't sure how big this radiator was, if this is a 2-row or a 3-row or a 4-row. I'm kind of guessing it's a 3-row, but I bought both 2-row and 3-row shroud mounts. Whichever one is wrong, I'll return. But anyway, so next up is to shove this thing back in there and install it. Okay, so I shoved the shroud back in there, and it looks like my cut should be good. I should have enough clearance. I still have the cardboard in there, but that should work. But before I install it, actually, I'm going to install the fan. I'm going to just kind of move this out of the way, and then install the new fan and figure out which spacer I need. One little trick that I learned is, somebody mentioned on a forum somewhere that it's good to use these little thin ratcheting end wrenches. These are 1/2-inch bolts, so having this thing so I could get in there easily was a lifesaver. Being able to ratchet, because using a standard wrench would have taken a year with the amount you can move it in between the fan blades. So hoping this 6-blade fan will be not too difficult to install now. Here's something pretty annoying. So on the 6-bladed fan, it came with a nice warning sticker in the center of the fan, and it doesn't peel off. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know, hit it with some goof off or something to get that sticker to get off of there. Pretty annoying when you want your car to look pristine. Okay, I got the fan reinstalled without dropping the radiator. It was a bit of a pain getting it down in there, but managed to do it. And now what I'm kind of realizing, I ended up using 2 spacers stacked on top of each other. One is it's a 1.5-inch from a T-Bird, I think, that's the one on top, and then just a generic aluminum spacer on the back. The Scott Drake 2.5-inch one seemed like it was way too big. The problem is that the fan is now sitting way too close to the radiator. You can see the blade pretty much touching the piece of cardboard that I have up against the radiator, but it's not really going to be enough room. The other fan, the original 4-blade fan, was a little flatter. This one has a little more depth to it. So, and I can't get rid of the 1-inch spacer altogether, because then the fan is a little too close to the belts for the air conditioning compressor. So, and also the alternator belt. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is maybe try and get a 1/2-inch spacer and reinstall this, take it off, and put a 1/2-inch aluminum spacer behind the T-Bird spacer, because it's a little too much as it is. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Close, but the other issue too is that when this fan shroud is snug, ideally your fan is supposed to be halfway in the shroud and halfway out of the shroud. And the problem is, because of this air conditioning compressor, I can't do that. My fan's gonna have to be all the way in there, but at least it can be set back a little bit more. So anyway, back to the drawing board. Okay, this is day 2 of my 6-bladed fan installation and fan shroud installation. So I ended up having to track down a 1/2-inch spacer for the fan. So I'm zooming in. What I ended up using is the spacer that MPD sells for Thunderbird, and then a 1/2-inch spacer as well, stacked. You can stack these spacers. It's not a problem. So that's where I'm at. So I got it installed. This was the 1-inch spacer. It was just keeping the fan a little bit too close to the radiator. So I'm hoping that this will be a happy medium. It won't be too close to the belts for the aftermarket air conditioning, and it'll be a good inch away from the radiator as well. Now, it's still not going to be in the middle of it's still not going to be half in and half out of the fan shroud like it's supposed to be, just because this is a big fan shroud. Obviously it's not in place yet. I still have the cardboard in there because I just finished wrenching on the fan, getting that in there. But next step is to get the shroud installed. So that's what I'm going to work on now. Okay, just ran into a minor issue. I bought both size fan shroud installation hardware. So the black one is for a 2-row radiator, which I wasn't sure if I had a 2-row or a 3-row, so I bought both. That's for a 2-row, that's for a 3-row radiator. Now, the issue is you can see that the hole there is larger for mounting on the radiator mount bolts, and the one for a 3-row radiator is smaller. So this one fits fine, this one does not fit my bolts, so I'm going to have to drill out the hole there to get it to fit my bolts. So, luckily I have a drill press, so that's what I'm going to do, drill these suckers out. But looks like I do have a 3-row radiator instead of a 2-row. Oh well. Okay, finally finished with the fan install, the 6-bladed fan and fan shroud. Had to drill out the mounts, which was a pain. They should have come with the proper holes, but of course they didn't. So there's the shroud. I had to play with it a little bit. You can see that this mount here is kind of at a weird angle. I had to sort of bend it a little bit to get it so that the fan has proper clearance without rubbing on the shroud anywhere. But after tweaking it a little bit, I was able to get it so there's about a ½ inch of clearance all the way around, I think. So all I have to do is tighten up the alternator belt, and hopefully it will be good to go.